Welcome. Um, okay, so yeah, if you could just give a little rundown of who you are, what you do, everything like that.
Okay, awesome. My name is Claudia. I am a holistic health coach and inner child coach, entrepreneur. Honestly, I hate putting labels because there's so many different things I do, and it's just been ever evolving. A little bit more about me. I'm 21 years old, and right now I'm traveling the world. I just moved to Panama, and now I'm traveling Portugal and Brazil. Actually, next week I'm going to the Amazon rainforest to sit with plant medicine, if you've heard ayahuasca. And yeah, sitting with indigenous people for 10 days. So just
Oh
super,
my gosh.
yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so how did you start? Like, how did you start traveling and owning a business and everything like that? Because that, like, being a holistic health coach would be my dream, but we'll get into that later. So, yeah, how did you kind of get into this?
Yeah, totally. So let me start from when I first went to college. My main passion in life was volleyball at the time. And for all my teenage years, I was working to play Division I volleyball in college. And I did. I got there and it was amazing for the first few months. And this is actually also leading into how I got into holistic health. But anyways, a few months into my first year of college and university, I started developing a lot of like health problems. I started getting like chronic fatigue and like migraines every single day. And it got to a point where like I couldn't get out of bed. Like I couldn't go to class. My performance in volleyball was just like deteriorating by the day. And yeah, I just got super sick. And this was actually the year of COVID. So I was just like in a cycle of pain, like suffering physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I honestly like wanted to stop living. Like I was depressed, anxious, and we all got sent home for COVID. Like that's when the world locked down. And I knew I had to make like a radical life change. Like I didn't know what was next for me. And I was honestly so burnt out and done and never really looked past volleyball in my life. So I had like a time where I had a huge reality check to basically continue my life, see what I wanted to do. And yeah, healing became my main priority because I was suffering with so many like physical ailments that literally didn't let me live like a normal life as a 19-year-old. Like I couldn't even socialize or do anything. So that's where the health journey started. And I went through like a radical transformation with like my acne, my gut health, like my energy levels and everything.
Yeah.
So that's basically how I got into coaching and the holistic world, lifestyle transformation coaching.
Okay, so do you do one-on-one coaching, group coaching? How does that work?
Yeah, so right now I'm doing one-on-one coaching and I actually want to start opening containers for group coaching online and in-person holding spaces, women's circles, empowerment coaching as well.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, that's really cool. So is that like your main source of income at this time while you travel and everything?
Yes, so that's one of them. I actually also do content creation and UGC right now, which is user
Yeah.
generated content. So I basically partner with brands in the holistic health, wellness, and like lifestyle space to create organic and paid ads for them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you think that has longevity in it for someone who is like just starting and wants to do it, or do you think that's something you have to build up over time? And then
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I think it's an amazing space to be in right now because TikTok is literally the future,
yeah,
especially for brands and marketing. So if you're a creative and you love doing TikTok, it's definitely an avenue that can really grow and you can create a business out of. So it's super exciting.
okay. Yeah. So do you see? So I know there's a difference between UGC and then just partnering with brands as a content creator. Do you
Yeah.
also partner with brands as a content creator?
Yes. So the difference is you can do UGC and you can also do like sponsored posts. So if you build up a following, let's say you have like 10K followers, like I think brand partnerships start at 10K,
Yeah,
where they basically pay you to advertise their product.
yeah,
And there's a whole range and a lot of factors that come into like the pricing and everything. But yeah,
yeah.
those are two ways that I've been making money from content creation. And there's also things like whitelisting and stuff like that.
Wow. Good for you. Which one do you think's better, UGC or kind of building up your own brand and following and then posting brands that way?
Yeah, I think it depends on the route that you want to go, and it also depends on your following. Usually, bigger creators with a bigger following do sponsored posts just because brands will pay them a lot of money just for one post on Instagram or TikTok. But UGC is something where you can start getting into it and create an agency out of eventually. So if you're more of like an entrepreneur and business person, that's an opportunity that you can really take.
For sure. Okay. And then, okay, so what significant life events led you to where you're at now? So whether that's how you grew up, what health-wise when you were a child, high school, whatever it is.
Yeah, okay. So a lot, but I would say one of the biggest things was in high school. I had to move in the middle of my freshman year. And that like wrecked me mentally and emotionally, and just as a teenager, like trying to fit in and like go to a new school and like meet new people, that was so hard and like was such a test for confidence, probably like another really low point I hit in my life. And yeah, for me, like I feel like when people hit a low point, there's so much medicine and like healing and potential in that, because it's like once you hit rock bottom, you can just go up. So that's one of them. But also I forgot to mention this, how I got into entrepreneurship after I dropped out of college, because that was basically the next step. I knew I wanted to step into entrepreneurship. I started going into the e-commerce world with like Amazon, drop shipping, Shopify stores. And that was a journey in itself, because I bought a mentorship. I got scammed like $5,000. And that was really hard for me because I was 19 at the time, like working a serving job, like just trying to like stack up money. And yeah, I just kept going. I bought like another $2,000 mentorship, and I'm actually still working with the mentor that I hired from that time. And yeah, with the Amazon business, that was basically like my gateway into everything that I'm doing right now, and created the financial opportunity to basically pursue my passions. And in the beginning of this year, I actually sold that store. So that was like my first big win as an entrepreneur.
Okay, so you still kept going with it and you made it happen.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Consistency and just like relentless, like pursuing it because I knew what I wanted, and that was to create a life of freedom, purpose, and impact.
That's amazing. I didn't know. Okay, so that kind of led you to where you're at now. Okay, so would you recommend an e-commerce store to anyone, or what's your kind of opinion on them?
Yeah, so honestly, to each their own, but personally, I wouldn't do it again just because it's not something that I was passionate about. I did it in the time to make money, but in retrospect, I mean, I wouldn't change anything because that was just a part of my path. But if you do like spending time on the computer and like building and doing like analytics and stuff, then I do recommend it, and it's a good avenue to go down.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people that do it, and a lot of people hate it. A lot of people love it. Like you said, it depends if you like being on a computer. I think that's a big thing. Okay, so then we go back to how you got to where you are, significant life events that built up to where you're at now. So anything that happened. Like, I guess one question I do have for you is how, like, did you grow up in a healthy household when it comes to food and everything, or was it the opposite?
Yeah, so actually, when I was 6 years old, my mom started going down a more natural healing and like holistic path.
Okay.
She started using like herbs and was a part of this network marketing company that had this incredible supplement that like changed her life. And yeah, she was like feeding me the supplement since I was young, like feeding me like green juices. So it is something that has always been a part of my life, but I took it to the next level, which was really beautiful. And honestly, I owe it all to my mom and my family for doing it.
Wow, that's awesome. Are you grateful that you grew up that way?
Oh, so grateful. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, good for you. Yeah, I grew up the opposite. I grew up eating like complete shit. And then when I was 17, I took the holistic route. I was nannying for someone who lived a holistic and more natural lifestyle than I had ever known of. And she gave me almost like a starter pack. She's like, try these supplements, these foods, try this. And I was like, okay. And then that like opened this door to like, wow, I can heal from allergies and asthma, and I can actually not have acne all the time. Like I do have it right now, but I was like covered. It was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. You grew up opposite.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, so what are the best things about your current lifestyle or life, which are similar, but
I would say the freedom to have like time and location freedom. That was the main thing that really like drew me into entrepreneurship, is just creating a life of freedom to not only pursue the things that I love to do, but also have time to do the things I love and spend time with family and travel and just experience life to the fullest, because I saw my dad working a 9 to 5 in New York City every single day. Like I saw how much it drained him, and just the way our society works with the rat race. And I always felt so resistant to that. So definitely the freedom aspect.
Yeah, for sure. So did you grow up in New York City?
No, I actually grew up in New Jersey. So my dad commuted like 40 minutes every day.
Yeah. Okay. Did you like that growing up there?
So I grew up kind of like inland.
Okay.
It was like 40 minutes from the beach, so like wasn't my favorite place, but in high school I moved to the beach, and it was like a completely different state, like so beautiful, like beach surfer town. So yeah, I didn't really like New Jersey until my teenage years.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in Maryland, so I know the north up there, and I'm
Cool.
not a fan of it, but I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, which there's like a small city, and then which is where I live. I live downtown, but then there's a ton of beach towns, and it's just amazing. I love it.
Did you go to school there?
No. So I graduated high school, and then I'm a photographer also. So I've had a photography business for about 3 years, and then I own a digital marketing business with my boyfriend, and we build websites, and we offer photography, videography, design services, and everything like that. And we started that because we wanted to be able to travel. And we started it last January. And last July to middle of August, we did a cross-country road trip and lived out of my car. So we traveled the country and slept in my sedan every night.
Wow, how was that? I'm curious.
It was amazing to see everything that we saw. I will say 5 of our clients fell through right before we left, so that July 1st pay didn't come. So we were just spending savings, but because of that, we didn't necessarily do a lot, but we still saw a lot. So we went to the national parks, we went hiking, things like that, but we didn't like do the crazy things like zip lining and things like that, because they add up, they get expensive, especially.
Yeah, totally.
Like we bought a cooler, the cooler didn't work, and then we didn't have room for a real one, so we couldn't like keep any fruit or anything. And I mean, I eat very fresh. I was like on a raw diet before I left, and like going from that to like trying to make Chipotle the healthiest it could be was very difficult. So, but we made it work. So food was an issue. It got expensive. That's why it was an issue. And we couldn't save it. Sleeping, yeah, like I said, we literally so I have like a Mazda 6, so it's not it's just like a 4-door whatever car. So we would just like put the seats back and just sleep. We made like window covers so no one could see us, but we pull over at rest stops at night, seats back, window covers, and then we do our baby wipe showers. So we had baby wipes and we just wipe ourselves down. Because I mean, we would shower. We had a few people we stayed with in the country, someone in California, someone in Texas, someone in Washington, things like that. So we would shower there, and we only bought 2 showers, like at a truck stop. So other than that, it was just rivers, baby wipes, ocean. Yeah.
Wow, that's gnarly, dude. What do you think your biggest 3 takeaways from that was?
Definitely. I feel like everyone has to do that. I feel like everyone needs to get out of their hometown and see the entire country and more. I want to go out of the country. I haven't been out of the country, so I'm very jealous that you've been to all these places. But I feel like I learned, even within within the United States, there are a lot of different cultures and there's a lot of different lifestyles that you would never imagine. I had never been out to the West Coast before this, and it was just completely different. I've always been on the East Coast. I've always lived on this side, and being over there was different. And then also, like, I moved my freshman year of high school. Like, right, my parents actually moved without me, and I lived with my best friend while they like were down here because I had to finish out my freshman year. So, and then I moved to South Carolina, and I thought that was enough. I was like, yeah, I know, I've seen it all, whatever. Naive little me. But like we'd be driving and we'd be in these towns that looked like they had like caught on fire. And I was like, there's no way no one lives here. Like one road was like the town and the other road was like the neighborhood. And like these houses look like completely destroyed. But then you see like a little kid playing out front and you're like, wow, this puts things into perspective. Because like people actually live there. So it's like, I don't know, it made me feel very grateful for where I'm at in my life when I saw all these different cities and towns, even the big cities, seeing homeless people and people that can't get out of a rut. Like, it's just like eye-opening. So that's like the biggest thing. The other two things, I learned that you don't need showers every day to help. You don't need them to live. That was a big, because I like being very clean, and I couldn't be, and it made me go a little crazy because I have a lot of hair. It's very long. And I wasn't washing it like at all. And it was very bad. But I figured out different braids, different things that would work. Something really big that happened. So I've never had like a normal job. I've always worked for myself, whether that's like babysitting, nannying. Then I started photography, things like that. I became like addicted to work because I thought if I wasn't working all the time, I would be behind. I wouldn't be successful. Gonna be broke and live in someone's basement. Like my dad said one time, he was like, if you own your own business, you're gonna be poor and live in someone's basement. I was like, don't say that. But anyways, so like I have these like negative thoughts in my subconscious, and they were like getting to me before I left. And then once I left, I was forced to not work. I wasn't in my town where I get all my gigs. I had to put the computer down when I was driving. I had to not work. And a bunch of our clients felt there. So I was like actually living. And I think that put things into perspective that it's okay to relax sometimes. It's okay to take days off. It's okay to take a step back when you need it and not take 20 phone calls in one day. Like it was very good for my work ethic, even if it sounds like the opposite. So yeah.
Wow, beautiful. There's so many points that I want to hit because I relate to so much of that, especially the last part, like getting stuck in that cycle of constantly like doing and chasing and like never feeling like you're doing enough. And like even when you like stop and have nothing to do, like feeling that urge and necessity to keep doing. But that's exactly like what causes burnout. And I've like seen that so many times in myself too. So it's crazy that we relate on that. And I feel like that's something a lot of entrepreneurs go through at some point in the journey. So also relating to you, when I went to Panama before I moved there in the beginning of this year, I was also stuck in that like hustle. Like I can't relax. Like I didn't even know until I got to Panama that I didn't really know how to be present and like clear my head and just be there. So that was also like such a huge lesson. Like I get there and I'm like, okay, like what now? Like I don't have that much work to do. Like why can't I enjoy? And I realized it was like that deep subconscious belief that it's like we have to constantly be doing, and it's like a survival thing almost. But
yeah, for sure. Did you have like a weird moment of like, what's my purpose when you first moved? Because you were like slowing down in a way?
I wouldn't say when I went to Panama. I mean, I think when I told you about the story in the beginning of when I first like got home from COVID from college, I definitely questioned it there. And I just completely felt like I was free falling because I had no idea what it was that my purpose was. But as I started healing and like going deeper into my personal development journey, I realized that it was to help like others do the same thing and like heal and hold space and provide like transformation for other people, other women, and specifically. And like also working with plant medicine is something that has helped me so much and changed my life. So down the road, that's also something I want to integrate into my practice.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
what's your like age range for your clients if you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, totally. So I would say anywhere from like 19 to 30.
Okay.
I feel like 19 is when women especially start to like mature a little more and start like questioning and start like exploring. So I would say that would be like the lowest I would go
Okay.
because that's also where I started my
Yeah.
whole questioning
Yeah.
and yeah, up until 30.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of, well, I, for like this podcast, I have people from like 16 to 30 because like I started entrepreneurship around 15, 16, or my entrepreneurship journey. And then like 30 because I want to have people that kind of relate when it comes to social media and society and things like that. And I have a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm over 30. Can I still come on? I'm like, I am trying to keep it around this age for now, which I will let people, but for now I want to kind of minimize it. Okay, besides that, okay, so where do you see yourself going in the next few years? Like, what are your next steps and next goals?
Yeah, so that's actually been something that's been evolving and shifting, but I definitely want to be living abroad and also have a home in the US. So have two bases and go back and forth. I also have a vision of like owning properties in the US, Airbnb-ing them or renting them for like
Yeah.
passive and residual income, as well as like hosting retreats for like healing and nutrition and
Yeah.
again like transformation coaching and yeah just like being that figure for women who want to make a change, whether it be like with their health, in their entrepreneurship journey, in their life. So yeah, just going deeper down that hole and using social media to do so.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. One question. Have you ever been to Sedona, Arizona?
No, but I want to go. Tell
You
me
got
what you're gonna say.
Oh my gosh, my favorite place I saw in the entire country. You got to go.
Wow.
Especially because like we went there's like the healing vortex. There's like this
Yeah.
one hike you can do. Oh my gosh, you just got to go. There's so much. You would I don't know. It's amazing. You would love it there. It's all about healing, and there's a million like crystal shops and Reiki centers, and I don't even know, healing tub centers. All like so many different centers, I guess you could say. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I always hear it's a vortex, and it's been coming up so much in the last 2 years, but I've only gotten as far as like Colorado and like I think
Okay.
Nevada, but I
Okay.
haven't been
Close.
like
Close.
close.
Um, okay. And then what are some of the hardest or toughest things about your current life or lifestyle?
Wow, okay. I would say that the hardest thing is the unknown that's in front of me because as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you know this too and feel it, like there's no like certainty, there's no security, and it's like you have to trust in yourself and like fully believe in yourself and your capabilities to like keep you afloat.
Yeah.
And I would say that's the hardest thing. I mean, like with a regular job, like at least you have the security that you're going to be making X amount, and
Yeah.
that's like comfort. But that's also the beauty of it because there's no cap as an entrepreneur. So
Yeah.
it's up to you what reality you're going to create. So it's a beauty, but it's also like the biggest struggle because I find myself getting stuck in like limiting beliefs sometimes or like self-doubt that I'm not going to be able to like create what I want to create, especially
Yep.
being at the beginning of starting a new business and like exiting. It's always like a high and low. It's like a roller coaster in waves.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a part of the journey, and like I'm super grateful for it, but that is definitely something that comes up and I do struggle with on a daily basis.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. I'm working with a wellness coach right now, and we like last week I was talking to her about how like I think it was also with my cycle, but I was having a lot of limiting beliefs, and I felt like I like imposter syndrome, and it was like weird. I felt like I wasn't like I was just like stepping outside of my own life, and I was like is this real? Like, am I just playing a game of like owning a business? Like, am I actually going to do this? Like, I don't know. It was weird. Even though I've been doing it, it's like an out of world realization. I don't know what people call it. I think it's something like that. But yeah, I've been feeling similar. At least so we went over that, and that made me feel better after talking and working through it and things like that. But I definitely get that with the whole nothing's secure. But like you said, there's a lot of beauty in that.
Yeah, totally. Imposter syndrome's real. It's no joke.
For sure. Oh, so you brought up how, I don't know if actually, okay, so do you think people that want to get into owning their own business and they want to start, where do you think their mental health has to stand? Do you think they have to work through that before starting? Not saying we have to tell people how to live, but what do you recommend?
Yeah, so from personal experience, I think that mental health is something that should be like pretty balanced. And like, of course, it's not always going to be perfect and we're going to have harder days. But I think it's really important to have like a confidence in yourself and get to a certain point in your personal development. And I mean, we're always growing, always expanding, and always progressing. But yeah, I definitely do think that's a huge factor, because if your mental health is low and you're starting a business, it's going to be so easy to get sucked into the doubt, to the imposter syndrome, to the limiting beliefs, and like believing the ego and that little voice in your head that you can't do it. So I think working on mental health is such an important part of entrepreneurship and life to achieve like anything you want and just to live like a good life. Because I find that like doubt like creates so much suffering, and that's just not fun. And yeah, as an entrepreneur, it's like you got to be like strong in your mental health and like not allow that voice to get through to you.
Yeah, for sure. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Ooh.
If you have it, if you remember. If not, it's okay.
I do. Okay.
Okay.
The best advice I've received is to follow your highest excitement. And that's something my oldest brother, has been telling me ever since I was probably like 13. And what does this mean to me? It might sound simple, but yeah, I feel like when we tap into what makes us excited, what makes us passionate, and what lights us up inside, that's like an avenue for our soul. That's like the avenue for us to go down. And it's like our heart is leading us there for a reason. So that's something that we have to look at. Like, life's too damn short not to do it. And so many people take the beaten path in life just because it's like known. And again, it's like comfortable and like being afraid to like step outside of the box. But taking the risks to follow your passions and highest excitements has inspired me and honestly gotten me to the place where I am today, because it's like built this motivation, inspiration, and determination to do it. And yeah, just create a life of beauty, abundance, and joy.
Wow, that's a good piece of advice. Props to him for giving that to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, you mentioned you have a brother. So do you have how many siblings do you have?
I have 3 older brothers.
Okay, so you're the okay. All right. How was that growing up?
Yeah, so they're actually a lot older than me. My oldest brother is 18 years older. The other one is 14 years older, and then 12 years older. So yeah, I was like the little princess growing up.
Kind of cool though.
Yeah, kind of cool.
I'm the youngest of 4 as well. I have 3 older sisters. One is 16 years older, 6 years older, and 5 years older. So
wow, kind of similar in that sense, similar but different.
Yeah, so I get the whole being the youngest type of thing.
Yeah.
So you grew up kind of a holistic lifestyle, because like you said, your mom started around the age of 6 for you. What about your brothers, and what about their life choices and things like that? Has it impacted all of you, or how did that go?
Yeah, so it definitely impacted all of us. I mean, 2 of my older brothers are on the same wave of living the most like bio-optimized life that they can, and like
Okay.
super conscious about where we get our food from, like all our veggies, like organic, like local. We have to like know the farmer where we get our meat from. Like that's
Yeah.
super important for all of us. And we've seen the effects and the impact that this has had on our health.
Yeah.
And my youngest brother, he was kind of raised the same way. Like they were obviously older than me, so it
Yeah.
was later on in their life.
Yeah.
But he is kind of not on that wave of like eating healthy and
Okay.
just eats like the normal American way. But in turn, he has like fatty liver disease and is struggling with like weight. So
Yeah.
it just goes to show like same genetics, same family, but yeah, it's just two different types of lifestyles.
For sure. Yeah. I agree. That can have a big impact. Um, okay. What is your greatest failure? If you understand the question,
Mm.
it can be confusing. So basically, what's something that you failed at, but it kind of had a good effect?
Yeah, let me think about this. Okay. So recently with this sale of my business, not
Mm-hmm.
that I failed, obviously it was a huge success, but something that I regret doing is not having the sale done in a professional way. So
Okay.
there was a contract that was put in place to have the first payment was done up front of X amount, and then the rest was supposed to be paid by the date, which was like March 28th. And in the contract, it stated that if the buyer didn't pay by this date, he would not get ownership of the store. And I avoided that contract because I kind of got, some people would say weak and unprofessional, but I had empathy because he was going through something in his life, which may not have been the best business decision. But I ended up having to wait for this payment for the next 5, 6 months. And in turn, this was like really difficult on my mental health and my peace, and just having to take care of the store while this buyer was finishing up and putting the money together to make the payment. So I wouldn't say it's a failure, but in this aspect of closing the deal, that's not something that I would do again.
Yeah.
And it's something that has definitely taught me to be stronger and more professional and strict with contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, going forward, I'd never do that again. So definitely learned a lot.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a personal question for you. So, where have you traveled to?
Yeah, so I started my traveling journey beginning of this year. I was supposed to go to Costa Rica to meet up with my brother, but he was in Panama at the time and fell in love with where we were, which is Playa Venao. It's on the Pacific side. So my
Okay.
initial plan was to go there for like a week and just stay with him to kind of catch a break from work and just be super present. But I ended up extending for 3 weeks. And after that, I ended up staying for 4 months.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in Panama for that amount of time. Then went home, went to Colorado, traveled around Colorado a little bit. And right now, I'm in Europe, in Portugal to be specific.
Yeah.
Um, right now, I'm in Lisbon, but 2 weeks ago, I was in Ericeira, which is like a beautiful little beach surf town
Yeah.
on the coast. And yeah, plans for now. I'm going to Brazil next week for like 10 days and then going back to Panama. And then next travel plan is Costa Rica in February.
Awesome. Well, good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
thanks.
I heard my a family friend, my mom's friend, she travels a ton. She goes everywhere, all over. And she said Portugal has been her favorite place she's ever been. I don't know what is different for her, but I'm very excited. She showed me a ton of stuff, and I was like, I need to go.
Yeah, wow. Like the culture here, I haven't been anywhere in Europe besides Poland because that's where my family's from. But yeah, this place is magical. Like the people are amazing, the culture is amazing, the weather is beautiful. Like
Wow,
everything's just perfect.
that's awesome. Okay, so you're definitely like a beach, warm temperature kind of girl.
Yeah, totally. Definitely a beach girl at heart. What about you?
Definitely a beach goer, beach girl. But so I grew up in Maryland. Like I said, it was cold, and I'm actually allergic to the cold. It's called cold-induced urticaria. So
No way.
I get hives, I wheeze, my joints lock up. It's really bad. And so I lived up north for 15 years, and it sucked. And then I moved to South Carolina, and it still gets like chilly and cold, but it doesn't snow. It doesn't get below freezing, things like that. So it's definitely better. But my boyfriend, on the other hand, is from Florida. He lived 20 minutes from the beach his entire life in the heat, and now he wants to move up north. And I'm like, no.
No.
We're complete opposites, but I have my health issue to my advantage.
Nice.
I'm allergic. I think I'm so. Yeah, I'm definitely. I plan to. So the beach here that I really like is called Folly Beach. It's just like a hippie beach town. I love it. I love the people. I love just everything. The houses are beautiful, and my dream would be to own a house there. Like that's art. He wants to as well. Like he wouldn't be mad if he lived on the beach, but
That's a plus.
yeah, for sure. Right now, I don't know, just living. My goal. So I told him for our anniversary, we'll be together 4 years in April. I told him I'm gonna go to Italy, so we'll see if that happens. I was like, I need to go out of the country because I checked off the U.S. Like I saw all of it. Now it's time to go out of the country, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, totally recommend. Coming to Europe is such a life-changing experience. Like even for me being here for 2 weeks, I'm like, wow, like you just see life from like a totally different perspective and the
Mhm.
way people live here is so different. So yeah,
I
do it.
definitely want to go. Also, I don't really eat gluten because I tend to have issues with it. But I've heard people in Italy, like when Americans that go to Italy, can eat gluten. So I want to see if I can eat like pizza and stuff.
Yeah, it's so true because what they do is like ferment their
What? I
they
saw
do
video.
like yeah, they have a fermented process and don't do anything that we do here in the US, which like causes so much like celiacs and gut or gluten sensitivities. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. That's what I just avoid it for. I don't know exactly what I have. I know I don't have celiac, so that's much more severe. But um, I just avoid it for better health and feeling.
Yeah, same. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I do have one. Okay, so how do you market your, if you do market it at all for your one-on-one coaching and everything like that? How do you actually get clients?
Yeah, so I started off organically TikTok marketing. That's something
Okay.
I still do. Instagram, all organic. And right now, like starting next month, I want to start doing paid ads to a free lead magnet that I have. It's like a ebook on like recipes and basics on like how to heal your gut, grocery checklist.
Okay.
That in addition to like getting emails for marketing and just having like a nurture sequence. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And as for like content creation, there's a lot of like LinkedIn outreach and like automations through email. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. What do you think? So I've followed you on TikTok for a long time. I don't know how long it's been, but I have. I know I saw your page a long time ago. My sister also follows you. She's like, "Oh my god, I love her. I'm so happy for
Oh
you."
my God.
And so I know, and then I've seen your Instagram and your TikTok. What do you think? Not just those two, but what do you think the way social media is going? Where do you recommend? Okay, hang on. Let me re-say that. Okay, so out of all different kinds of social media platforms, which one do you think is going to take off and actually have longevity? If you were to tell like a beginner, this is the one you should invest in.
Yeah, so I personally believe TikTok.
Okay.
I think Instagram's always going to be around and it's
Yeah.
always going to be there, but I really think TikTok is the future, especially for like businesses and brands and like growing, especially for our generation and the younger generation. Like everyone's hooked on TikTok now. And yeah, there's negatives to it, but if you use it consciously and for the right reasons, it's amazing. I mean, it's like everyone in the world is starting to get on it and it's blowing up. So I
Yeah.
feel like we're still at the early stages and the algorithm is changing and everything. I don't know if you've seen that, but
Yeah.
it's been changing the last few months.
Yeah.
But
It's also becoming like a more established app. Like they added the now thing, trying to be real. Have you seen that?
no, I
The
haven't. What
app
is
Be
that?
Real that's like trending all the time.
Yes, I've seen that. But what
When
do
they
you mean? It's
added,
like, yeah.
I'm gonna show you on my. So like this little now thing.
Oh,
So it's like, and then I'm gonna pull it up. So,
wow.
so it says like be the first to post a now. So it's like
Wow.
literally be real. Well, in
That's
TikTok trying to
crazy.
yeah.
I haven't updated my app yet, so I haven't seen that.
And mine just
Oh,
automatic updates. So I was like, you serious?
jeez.
But I mean, we can't be mad. Instagram and Facebook and everything took stories from Snapchat. Like they're all gonna do it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that and then like they're running ads now and things like that are making it more stylish. What do you think of like LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, Pinterest? Where do you think those are going? If you have an opinion.
Yes, I think LinkedIn, I actually just got on LinkedIn like 2 months ago and like didn't realize how much I was missing out on until I got in on it.
Okay.
And just I made so many connections through it in just 2 months and been putting myself out there. So it's such an amazing connector for opportunities and connections in whatever niche you're in. As for YouTube, I think YouTube Shorts and YouTube is just an amazing opportunity if you have like a product or service or something. Like YouTube Shorts are amazing. And I heard there's this like monetization now where it's like the best place to be for creators.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know much about that, but that's just what I've been hearing. So also, if you have a TikTok, if you have a platform, if you're posting videos, I recommend to start posting everything you do on TikTok on YouTube Shorts because there's just like so much opportunity there, and you don't know until you try, even if it doesn't work out, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, wait, what did you say? Any other platforms?
Pinterest.
Pinterest. That's so funny. I've literally just started looking into Pinterest. I also heard that they have crazy like monetization
Oh yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to hop in on that. Do you know anything about it?
I do. So I actually started it to kind of do like a trial and error. What? My boyfriend. Anyways, I did it to do like a trial and error type of thing, and I was consistently posting while I was traveling, just because I had a lot of content, like picture wise. But you can also post videos on there. I did a little bit of video, not much. I had a lot of pictures to post, and randomly, I was getting like 2,000 impressions a day, which was like a lot for just randomly posting for like a month or 2 weeks to a month or something.
Wow.
So it was decent. They focus on keywords because they are a like search engine app. So kind of like go on there for like recipes and whatever. So like if I was like posting like I have a salad recipe on there, like I'd title the salad, I'd write a description and then do hashtags, and then I'd write like there's like a recipe section where you can write all the ingredients. So if someone's looking up like kale salad, that'll come up. So like it's really easy to be found. It's randomly blowing back up. I think it's something a lot of people like you, and then my sister's like an interior designer, so I told her to get on there because she has these beautiful houses that she's always taking pictures of. And like you can blow up on there, and it's just they're pushing crazy. So I definitely recommend it. And then I also, so it was like July or August. They sent me an email basically like if you get to X amount of followers and impressions, you can be in the certain niche of creators that can make money during this certain time period, because right now they're slowly introducing like a creators fund type of thing, and that month was like health, wellness, and all that stuff. So they're trying it out, and I think it'll do good.
Wow. So what do you recommend? Do you have like a strategy for like posting?
No posting strategy. Obviously post as much as you can, but okay, I'll get back to that in a minute. So yeah, so I recommend every picture that you post, you want to write as many keywords about that post as you can. So in the title and the description, it doesn't need to be sentences. It doesn't need to be anything, because
Is it like hashtags?
So there's a section, it doesn't even have a specific section. Okay. There's two different posts. You can do like an idea pin or just a pin it gets really confusing. You kind of have to like mess around with it while you're in there. But hashtags or regular words, they kind of have the same effect on Pinterest because you're still searching it up. But I recommend, like, you don't even need to write full sentences. It could be like fall decor, fall decorations, autumn decorations. Like, you just want to use as many words relating to the post as you can, because just think about what are people going to look up that you want your thing to show up. So I have a salad. I'm going to say fall salad recipe, and then, or fall kale salad recipe, things like that. So
do you separate it with like commas, or like how do you?
I've tried, so that's what I was doing, like the trial and error. I tried both. I did hashtags and no hashtags, like just keywords and then hashtags. I did periods, and then no periods, and I didn't really see a difference. I still did pretty good, but I wasn't on it for a long period of time. So I can't give like certainly this is going to work or this is going to work. Those are just my few takeaways.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I actually started playing around with it, and I saw like the idea pins, and I tried to post something, but then it was like saved to board, and I was like, I don't know.
I think idea pin is the way to go. I think that's the one that doesn't do the board. I don't know, because you can do videos in the idea pin section. So that's what I would do. And they also have different ways you can see the analytics, but like created. Yeah, I would do idea pins. Those are the ones.
Sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we talked about social media. I guess I'm good. Do you have any things you want to leave the listeners with?
Yeah, so one thing I would leave everyone with is that. Jesus. Okay, one piece of advice that I would leave everyone with is to follow your highest excitement. And I know I said that before, but it's truly like the thing that's been driving me every single day. And it got me to create my why and figure out my passions and really figure out what it is that brings me joy and fulfillment in this life, and to pursue that relentlessly, because life is too short not to. And yeah, we're so abundant. Like, you can create anything you want. Like, you're literally the creator of your reality. Like, the limiting beliefs are there to serve you, and like the fear is there for a reason. And pursue that fear, because it'll take you in the right direction. But besides that, I'm going to be posting a lot about my journey of entrepreneurship, my healing journey, and everything that I experience and discover, and especially about the plant medicine and ayahuasca journey in Brazil that I'll be embarking on in the next 2 weeks. So be sure to follow on Instagram. It's Holistic Cloud. And then my TikTok is Conscious Cloud.
There you go.
Yeah, thanks so much for hosting me. This was such a fun conversation.
I was so excited when you said yes. I was like, I get so excited when someone says yes.